So, let me share my screen. Back, share. Screen. Okay, so everybody can hear me and everybody can see my cell phone screen?
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to kind of get started here with a quick refresher of what we talked about last week, just so that we're all kind of on the same page here. I don't want to spend too long on it because there's a lot of other stuff for a half an hour's talk. And then if you guys have any questions, you can either leave them in the chat while I'm talking, and I can try and tackle that. And if you don't want to put it in the chat, I've got a Q&A at the end. Okay. All right, let's get started. So again, as Sandy mentioned, I'm Emily Marquis. My husband and I run a jewelry school over on Cutler Street. And we've been here for about a year, and, clearly that whole year was a pandemic. So shifting our business from Washington, D.C. over to Stonington Borough was like kind of a drastic move to be happening while the rules changed, right? So a lot of our business was able to continue to thrive because we were tapped into Instagram for the most part. I wasn't using any other social media. I wasn't doing a lot of email. That was pretty much it. So last week in the previous video, we talked about setting up your Instagram profile and like tips for what should be in that. Ideally, when you're looking at a profile, you want that to be your like 5-second, what does somebody need to know about me content. They shouldn't have to be searching to figure out what you can bring to them and what problems you can solve for them. Then we kind of talked about the grid. So the grid is that hunk of photos below your profile that is the posts that you make. I suggest making a post about 5 to 7 times a week, but I understand that that's totally not reasonable for somebody who's just getting into Instagram. Take it slow and learn what works for you, and learn how to add posts, daily posts that make sense for your content. Don't rush into it just because I said 5 to 7. That's a over time you get there. Then we kind of discussed hashtags and ways to get more followers that are in your niche, and how to do saves. And I just want to retouch on saving because I think that that's really quite helpful. So if you're in your Instagram and you see this little kind of like the bottom right side of my screen underneath the photo, there's a little banner. And if I click that, it says saved to collection. So if I click that saved to collection pop up, it shows me a bunch of the saved content that I've worked on. And you can organize this stuff. And if I go to my profile by hitting my face, going to the 3 slashes in the top corner, and then scrolling down to where it says saved, I can look at all the saved content from other people that I would like to revisit, which can be very helpful if you're inspired by something, or if you see somebody did a really cool post that you might want to be inspired by down the road. So in this case, these are just kind of stuff that I thought was really cool that, I might want to use an element of down the road in my design work, or maybe I want to try a technique I saw in here, So in this case, like dice, there's a huge variety of dice. I would love to try some of these techniques. And so I saved it to come back to later. Oh, Carolyn is in the waiting room. Let's see if I can add her. How do I add her? Oh, she's on my phone. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Admit. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So welcome, Carolyn. Your saved content is about stuff that you find valuable. Now, the reason I'm showing you guys this is because you want your clients and your followers to be saving your content, okay? Your goal is to have them do that. It's like a super like, that's what they're calling it. So the like being the heart in the bottom left, the banner in the bottom right is your super like. And that's telling Instagram, this content is really valuable to me. And I would like to come back to it. And Instagram is being run by an AI, right? It's not a human. There's a machine back there that is saying, you were on this photo for this long, this was saved this way, and therefore I'm going to bump that content because it keeps users on my app longer. And that's kind of the psychology you have to think about when you're thinking about what you're posting is, am I writing something that is going to be captivating? Am I posting content that is going to keep people on my page? We discussed hashtags, which I'm not going to rehash, but you can go and watch the video and see what we discussed there. Again, likes, comments, shares, and saves, those are your big actions inside this app. We visited stories, how to post a story, and some tips on what kind of content goes in there. A story is like a 24-hour flyer that goes onto your profile. It's temporary, you can revisit it, but it's also an opportunity for business owners to be a little bit more casual. So you can do stuff like, in this case, I posted about the event that we were having, and that was very detail oriented. Then I posted a meme sharing, a little bit of humor and reaching out to followers who may be in my industry that relate to that. And then resharing somebody else's story, that cross posting, sharing information between your page and other pages is going to encourage people to follow you and them. And they'll do the same for you, which is one of the ways that you're going to increase your follower count, hopefully towards people who are interested in your content instead of just random useless followers. Okay, so ways to post contents. This is kind of where we're going to start diving into other information for people who have been using Instagram for a small period of time or for a long time and haven't really cracked into it. Okay, so IGTV, longer form videos, series, and information. So if we go over to my Instagram, I'm going to go to my profile. You can see right here, they're kind of about a quarter of the way down on my screen. There's a little grid. There is a square with a play button in it. There is a square that looks like a television. And then a shopping bag, and then a little profile. So these are other slides on your profile. So if I click the first one, I'm going to get this grid. So that's where my photos are. If I click the second one, I come to my reels. And if I click the third one, I come to IGTV. So I'm going to talk about the IGTV first, just because that's what was first on my list. So IGTVs are long form videos. And so what that means is I can post up to 10 minutes if you're a smaller account, or up to like an hour if you're a larger account of a video. So this is a great place to save your IG lives. So that's when you go live streaming from your profile. You can automatically save it to this section. I've used it for videos where I'm showing you how to create a piece of jewelry, like in paperclip chains, office facelift. We did a whole video installing a mural in our new office, and so we wanted to share that. I have a series called Hot Stove Goldsmith, where I just cook and answer goldsmithing questions to people online. So this space doesn't automatically have to be, this is my brand, this is my vision, everything's perfect. Like clearly I've got top buns and sweatshirts throughout this, and people respond to that because they can relate to the character building that is happening in this space, right? This is a great spot for you to put up videos where you want to give a lot of information to your clients. The way that you post something to these is if you go to this top right plus button, you've got feed post, story, story highlight, IGTV video. And so if I clicked that, I could pick a video over 60 seconds long and upload that into my IGTV. So you see, I've got videos of like how to access the day best of, right? So that was a great way for me to educate my clients on how to go nominate me, right? So screen sharing, how to do that, that's a great thing to do. I've got videos here of me showing off jewelry, talking about stuff that we're doing a giveaway. So these are kind of great opportunities for you to kind of bring that content forward, because your posts, as we discussed last week, are limited to 60 seconds. So any content over 60 seconds needs to be put into your IGTV, and you can organize it by series. Yeah, it's kind of part of that TV concept. So you could say, these are all my things about tools. These are all my things about, Q&As. This is all my 1700s furniture, whatever kind of your niche happens to be, you can organize them. Okay, the next thing is Reels. And so these are limited to 30 seconds. They're kind of, if you've heard about TikTok, they're Instagram's response to TikTok. And they're very popular. They're supposed to be quick, catchy. I wrote fascinating, fun, and fast. So this is supposed to be like, here's content, keep going. The goal is to get repeated views. So you don't want anything too stodgy in here. You don't want anything too just boring. It's supposed to be very quick information. So in the case of this, the second button over on my profile, I've got Reels. All of these are 60-second videos where I'm showing stuff. So in this case, this video is me kind of setting stones step by step into these bezels, right? Nothing crazy, nothing wild. I didn't do a lot of intense video editing. This was done in app. But it had a really great response, and I had orders come from it because people were excited to see these stones set. 2 of these stones were client stones, and I was able to just set them and share that content.
Emily, I think one thing that's important to note is look at the view numbers.
Yeah, that's what I was about to talk about.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So in the bottom left-hand corner of all these pictures, you see a little play symbol and then a number. That number is how many views this was, how many times somebody watched this, not just one person, but all of the people. So you can see that a lot of these videos have random amounts, and then they're all averaging around 2,000 and 3,000. That's pretty common for me. But then you occasionally get one that happens to have a larger view count. So in that case, you see 18.8 thousand views on this one in the center. I think the reason being is because it's so short and it's kind of fun, but all I did was I just snapped my fingers in front of this video where I patinaed the ring. The ring's not even done. It's not finished. It's just a quick, change of pace. So in Reels, you get to have this opportunity of saying, this is fun. This is quirky. Here's a process shot. Here's something happening. We had our sign installed the other day, and I did a stop motion video of the men installing the sign. And, it's just kind of a way to let people into your life, but in a very quick, digestible way, right? It's not supposed to be something super intense. And views kind of vary. This is a world where, it's hard to tell what content. Oh, get out of here. It's hard to tell what kind of content is going to really succeed until you've started practicing and seeing what your followers are interested in. Just like with your posts, Reels and IGTVs take hashtags. They take, you can put in a whole commentary below in the post. So you can talk about what they're seeing if they want to read more. You can use hashtags to tell Instagram who might want to see this content. When it comes to Reels, you can go ahead, add a Reel, and there's a bunch of functions on the left-hand side. Sorry, I'm just kind of like showing my dog. right? So if I wanted to record, there's like add music to your reel. There's a 15-second timer. You can do a speed. You get to decide what kind of video content you're adding to all these little videos, and it will time you out at 60 seconds. So I highly recommend you guys and you don't have to post. You can just play around in here and see what kind of editing is required. I'm trying to see like if there's I need to move that so that I can click this. So if I wanted to add this little video in here, I can edit the amount of time that it's going to actually be there, add it to my reel, and then it's going to tell me that if this video is 10 seconds long, I've got 20 seconds left to add content. And then I can go and either add another picture, I can live record. So I would just press that center button, and now it's going to record what's on my screen and timing out because I've reached my 30 seconds. So then that would be the reel, and I could use these top functions. So filters, record a or record a voiceover, add GIFs and emojis, write on it, or leave words for somebody to read. So there's a lot of options, just like in your stories, to edit a reel. Out of here. Discard. Go. Okay. So reel content is very popular. You're going to find it posted onto your search or your home section. That's where these little videos end up. For a lot of people who find you that don't know you, that's where they're going to be. Is they're going to find you through these kind of pieces of content being posted to what they call the explore page, right? That's where you want to end up, is on the explore page, because that means Instagram thought your content was important enough to just show to strangers, right? People who have nothing to do with you, but maybe like similar accounts, they're going to amplify that. So in the case of one of my reels that has a predominantly larger view count, Instagram said this was good content, and we pushed it out to thousands more people. And all of this content is free. I haven't paid for any of these reels to be promoted, any of my IGTVs. I very rarely use promotions. In the case of like the last week, I promoted this photo for a couple days, and we can kind of take a look at insights for promotion. So I paid like maybe $40 to like promote this photo because I liked what I was saying and I liked the photo that was included, and it was already performing well. And so you can see kind of a view into how many people went to my website after seeing that photo, how many people went to my profile after seeing it. And these are people that would not have seen it otherwise, but it can be helpful. I closed it off like halfway through my process. I didn't finish it because I felt like I had moved on from the content, and you have the choice to stop your promotion midway if you feel like it's not performing, or if you feel like you've gotten what you need out of it, right? So again, I don't highly recommend promoting your content. It's not required. It does cost money, and you need to have practiced understanding what posts are doing well and which content is good. Instagram's going to tell you your post did well and ask you to promote it. You don't have to. It's just trying to get your money. You should be saying this post is really doing well. I know that because I've been watching my content and reactions and how people message me. I am going to boost that. That should be a decision you make, or you and your business partners make. Do not just say, oh, well, Instagram told me, therefore I should, because they want your cash. I mean, that's just how it works. IG Lives. So we talked about this briefly when I was talking about IGTV. So if I swipe, let's get that out of there. If I swipe over into my stories, I have down here at the bottom multiple options, and one of them is live. And what this would do if I press the button is I would start going live to all of my followers, and basically I'm live streaming like if I was just on national television, right? But just to all my followers. And what Instagram's going to do is it's going to put a little notification into all of all of their profiles, like their push notifications to say, hey, Emily Marquis Designs is going live. Now, what I have found as a tip that works is start your live and then don't go live. Start it for like 10 seconds and then close it down and then do it again. And what that's going to do is it's going to send 2 push notifications to all of those people who are following you. So they ignored the first one because they're busy, but then you went live again and they're like, you know what, I got to see what's happening. And it's kind of that exposure stuff, right? So they saw you come up once, they were able to ignore it. They saw you come up again about a minute later, and they were like, you know what, actually, I would like to see what she has to say. And they click that and jump in. And I find that the amount of people who attend quicker increases when I do that kind of like, I don't know what you want to call it. It's almost like a stutter, but if you follow people, you'll notice that you'll get multiple push notifications very early on. And that is literally that person closing and opening up this, this function to kind of get your attention. So you're forcing push notifications into people's space. Close friends. Now, this is something that Instagram rolled out. You have close friends, which are basically like VIP followers. You have a special way to push your stories to them. And I highly recommend that businesses use this as a VIP client section. You can basically post content that's only viewable to that small amount of people. They're going to get a special green symbol around the post that says, hey, this was just for my close friends. This is special content just for you. And this is a great place to do behind the scenes stuff or early access to something in your shop or early signups. So the way that you would do something in your stories to close friends is we're just going to post a story. Let's say it's this. Oh, I can't do a photo. Let's see. Let's try that. Okay, so posting this paperclip chains, and you see down here on my bottom, I've got this little green star and it says close friends. So if I clicked that, this post would go just to my close friends and I can curate that list. So how we curate that list is we go to our profile, click the triple lines here, and you've got your close friends list. And so all of these people are either people that you know or people that you want to see your content specifically. So for me, I'm using it for some local business owners that repost and reshare our content. I'm using it for my high-end clients. And it's like an opportunity for me to go, this was special and I want you to see it first now, whatever. So let's say you were working on a new sale coming up, but you wanted to release some information a couple of days early. You could put special sale prices just for a couple of days ahead of time, only to your favorite clients who you know are eager about it. And there can be a certain way that they can get access to that list. Maybe it's something that just you curate based on their performance and relationship to you. Maybe there is a VIP section for your store, that kind of thing. It just lets you go, you're special and I want to give you private access that's not available to everybody else. And however you apply that to your business is kind of up to you. I like to do extra behind the scenes stuff. I'll show people stuff that I can't post yet. Like if I was working on an engagement ring, that's a surprise. I might be posting stuff in my close friends stories to let them see what I'm working on, but that ring might not see the light of day for 6 months, depending on how long it takes to get given to the person it's made for, right? So for me, that's a great way to have secret content, but still share it. So the last section that I think is kind of worth focusing on is your highlights. So that is this bar right here. Your highlights section is a place for you to go. I posted this in my stories, but I wanted it to be around longer than 24 hours. So for example, any content about this necklace I made, I posted in here so that I could share it. So now people are seeing posts, story posts from multiple days, and they're able to look at the content around it and just focus on this one very expensive necklace that I made because I think that it deserves extra attention, right? But if you went to my, sorry, close. If you went to my grid, you might not see a post of that because it was 4 months ago. It's kind of old content for me. Like really, you'd have to scroll back all the way to December to see photos of that necklace. But it is still for sale and it is still a relevant piece of work that I've done in the last year. So I want to keep it up in front. So you might say, oh, well, I did a bunch of posts about armchairs and I wanted to share that. Or we're having an upcoming class session. I want to share all those classes that I put in my stories and not let them go away, because people want to still see that content, but your story content really is only for 24 hours. So what I've done just now is I've clicked my profile, and this is my stories. So when I click right here, seen by 120 or 142, this is content that only you can see if you have a business account for your Instagram, business creator. If you don't have like a personal account, you've upgraded it for free to allow you to have these insights. You can see stuff like who's watching your posts, how they navigated it, whether or not they went and checked out the content you were talking about. So in this case, I shared a video from another jeweler and I said nice things about her. So 24 of the 122 people that saw that went and looked at her account. So this is where I'm talking about cross-posting. 24 of my followers said, oh, that's fascinating. And they went and looked at her. Now, ideally, there would be some reciprocation where she would share the thing that I posted and those people, her clients, would come and check out my account. So you want to find like accounts that you're friendly with, that you can be sharing and reposting content from, because they're going to be doing the same for you. Ideally, if somebody isn't doing that for you, maybe you reconsider sharing their content, right? So this is kind of that space, and there's a lot of information happening in here that you can amplify and keep an eye on. So in this case, this video has been live for 35 minutes and it's been seen by 20 people. And then I can see which 20 people watched this. And what's nice is if you kind of keep track of the people who are most commonly looking at your account, who are interacting with your account the most, this is a great chance for you to go, oh, that is a person who should maybe be in my VIP list. They're constantly interacting. They're very engaged. They shop with me. And I'm always seeing their account come up. When you start to recognize accounts, you should probably consider who that person is and what their relationship is to your business, just as if you'd recognize somebody's face in your shop. So favorite apps, I don't really have. I'll just kind of give an overview of these, and then I can share links to these later if anybody's interested. Afterlight I use as a editing app instead of the in-app filters in Instagram. So I would edit a photo in Afterlight and then bring it over and upload it to Instagram. Canva is a really neat both computer and phone app that you can use to create templates. I love the background eraser. So if you wanted a white background behind something, that functions really great. I did this whole whatchamahoozy in Canva, this presentation. So it had a pre-created presentation and that I was able to go through. You see all of these different like little layouts and fill in the content, make it look a little bit more professional without having to worry about making a good presentation. InCollage is a really neat little app that allows you to do various layouts. And one feature that I like that I can do is you may notice that the grid of Instagram says, this is a square. Everything's a square. Well, sometimes you post a photo that you don't want to be a square. So in the case of this guy, I wanted white background on the top and bottom so that I could have the rectangular image. So InCollage has a really easy function to adjust the ratios and add a white background or a blurred background to your photo. The same suite has InShot, which I think is like $9.99 a year. and it is a very easy to use video editing program. So when you're creating IGTVs, when you're creating reels, when you're posting videos of the content you're working on, this is not a very large app, so it doesn't take up a lot of space on your phone, but it's very easy to edit videos and export them in a high rate. What's the word for that? Like the, anyways.
Resolution?
Yes, a high resolution. So I like that it doesn't compress things when I'm trying to create the videos, but it also doesn't take up so much space on my phone. Point blur is something I like to point out just because sometimes you take a photo, let's see. Sometimes you take a photo that is useful, but it has somebody's content on it and you don't want to share it. So in this case, I took this photo I want to share later today, but it had an inscription that's private of my clients and I didn't want to share that. So I was able to just blur out that inscription, but then keep the whole of the photo. You could use this same thing. Let's say if you took a photo of your store and there was somebody's license plate in front of it and you didn't want to share their license plate on your Instagram because that's moderately illegal. Those would be the kind of things that you might use point blur for, because it's like a really quick, like you just touch it and the thing gets blurred out and you don't lose the photo. You could use this if maybe you took a photo with somebody's child in it and you wanted to share the photo, but you didn't want to share the child's face. These are kinds of the kinds of things you might use for privacy when posting to Instagram. The last app is Retouch. I found this one recently. I'll pull it up. No, we don't want that. We want Retouch. Okay, so this app, very cool, very easy to use. So let's say I took this picture of Cal's favorite icing, but I wanted to get rid of something. This may be a terrible photo for this, but you can see at the bottom, object removal, quick repair, line removal.
We're not seeing your screen, Emily.
Oh, no. Okay, well, let me pull it back up. Give me 30 seconds. It seems that I kicked myself out of my own Zoom meeting. 1 second. I'm glad you guys are all still here. I gotta go to this.
By the way, the 3 little lines in the top right corner is called a hamburger.
Yeah, I have heard that. I felt like it might be a little bit more confusing than, you know, like this is one of those things. Let's see.
Do I need to make you host again?
No, I think I was still host and I just dropped out.
Okay.
So, okay. Oh, no, you are the host again. Add me back, please.
There you go.
All right, we're back. So I'm going to pick a different photo for this sample. Okay, so in this case, this is my student's wax carving. Lizzie's learning to wax carve, but let's say I didn't want this little 3-5 in her image. So quick repair here, and I could just kind of overlook that and it's gonna erase it. Now, in the case of this weird line thing, I might have to fuss with that. Let's go back. This is not a good example of what I'm trying to show. But, oh, so let's say I just wanted to get rid of one of these. I could quick repair, clean up that line. It's just gonna delete it. So the nice thing about something like this is if you took a photo of your shop or a photo of your friend, or you took a photo with like a client who stopped in, but you can't get them back for a second selfie, like you could go and say, oh, they had a piece of lint on their shirt, get rid of it. Or, oh, there was a weird thing on my table, like a McDonald's bag, and I don't want anybody to see that. You could use this app to very quickly kind of like scrub that out of your image without having to worry about retaking it, without having to fuss with Photoshop. A lot of these lot of my goals with these is that I don't want to have to go to my computer to do editing for my photos and videos. A lot of us are working very quickly, very actively, going all over the place. And in that case, you're not going to have the time to go, oh, well, let me go sit down, fix all this stuff, get it back onto my phone, upload it to the internet. You want to be able to spend 5 minutes in a couple of apps very quickly, fixing that thing and getting it online. And that urgency, that quickness is what's going to make this easier to do in the long run. So turning this into profit. So for me, your goal for my business, my goal is to get people to do sales via DM. I'm trying to sell my jewelry or my classes, and I want people to reach out into my messaging and talk to me about the products that I've been showing them. So you don't have to navigate them to a website. Very often, if you have your PayPal set up, you can just give them your PayPal email, or you can send them an invoice via PayPal and get that purchase finished. You want to be aware about shipping pricing. You want to be aware about any kind of fees or whatever. Let's say you ran a school and you wanted to navigate them to your website for signing up for a class, because that keeps it all a lot simpler. You could still do that through your DMs, but you're kind of controlling the conversation. So one of the other ways that you start to see a profit is client investment. When they feel like they know you, they want to support you, right? So I call it evangelism. That can occasionally have a bad connotation, but in my opinion, you want clients who are evangelists for your business, because that is free advertisement every day of the week, because they care about you. They're going to tell people that your business is good. So in the case of this like little post that I had, this was for the school, and I had multiple people commenting that they were trying to figure out how to get to the borough so that they could take my class. One person was from Massachusetts, the other one's from the Keys. So that to me is telling me that my reach has students who want to travel up and down the East Coast to come take my classes for this specific class, right? So you're starting to get a feel for who's out there and how do they want to interact with you. And now it's not just, oh, my clients from North Stonington. Now it's my clients from all over the country. And that's kind of the goal is Instagram allows you to reach a huge platform of humans who are probably interested in your product, but they haven't walked down Water Street before, right? And that's this national reach and even international reach. So back in February, we released our punch kits. We did a pre-order of 100 kits at $65 a kit. And we sold them to 8 different countries and most of the US. And so for us, just being able to post a toolkit online and then see international response to our product was very exciting. Even at that limited size of 100 pieces, like 100 kits. So what you start to experience is that people aren't just here for your little section of the earth. They can come from all over and they can support you. And that, kind of broadens your ability to make income and grow your business. So that's kind of why we're using it and how you can use specific factors in Instagram to kind of amplify your page and make it more interesting, and therefore create the Instagram AI to amplify you. So that's that. Does anybody have questions?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
If you were going to recommend sort of a mix, because there are a lot of tools within Instagram for people to use, so it can feel a little overwhelming. What would you recommend to be a fair weekly mix of content? So would you do, 1 grid post, 2 live Insta TVs? Would you do a reel? How many stories? Is there a magic number?
Right. So for me, when I say 5 to 7 posts, I am only talking about your grid posts. The reels, the IGTVs, that's additional content on top of what you're already posting in your posts as like a daily. I think when it starts to get into your reels and your IGTVs, that is going to be as you create the content, share it when it's relevant. Maybe at least one a week to get started. And then if you happen to find that that's really effective for your business, then add more of it. When it comes to your stories, I would at least be posting one story a day, if not 5 or 6. They're very quick. They're, as I said, they're like flyers. So you can just post a picture, you can reshare your own content, you can share other people's content, and having your stories be up front like that is going to help the algorithm push you to the front of the line every time. So I think at a minimum, you want to kind of get started with a few and then find out what content is easiest for you to create, find out what content is getting the most response, and increase that. So it's really going to be per client, but I would be trying to do a post every day in these categories. At least one post in one category, like, not like 15 posts in a day, but like just pick one and go for it. And then you'll find what works for you in the long run. For me, making a reel or doing a long video, that takes a lot of time. I don't have that much content to okay, so when you're doing all this stuff, you're going to find what is easiest for you to do, and that's going to be the forefront of the content. Do we have any other questions?
No questions?
I think I've lost you. All right. So if we don't have any more questions, I mean, I'm available if somebody is starting to play around in here and like gets turned around or isn't quite sure or has a hyper specific question, you guys can email me or you can hop on Instagram and send me a message. Screenshots are always really helpful when you're having an issue or a question and you're trying to figure something out because describing it is a lot harder than taking a photo. So I guess that is it for us today.
Well, Emily, thank you so much for your time and sharing your wealth of knowledge on Instagram. I know it's time is very precious, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, I am always happy to be helpful, and we're teachers, so this comes pretty naturally. So if I can be helpful, then that's what I want to do.
Great.
Yeah, thank you, Emily.
Awesome. Well, everybody have a good morning. It's raining and, I'm sure it'll be lovely.
Bye.